Um, well, hello. Hi, everyone. You're welcome to our Polygon workshop for today. I think we're doing this every month, so we're very happy to have everyone here. And yeah, my name is Jamin. I will be your host for today. Without saying much talk, we're already 5 minutes in, so we can just start up. So, yeah, today we'll be talking about um, DFI. What is DFI? How to get started in DFI, and also, what are the basics of what does DFI actually mean? Does it mean decentralized finance, or does it mean decide to go into finance? So, or whatever it means, we're going to be learning about that today. So, um, we have with us here, we have Mara Blossom. So I will invite her to the stage, and yeah, she will be taking us on what is DFI and how to get started with DFI. So Mara Blossom is a programs manager and also a DFI trader. So she has a lot of extensive experience in the DFI space, and so we're very happy to have her here. I will just add her to the stage. And hi, Mara. Your mic is muted.
Hi, Jamin. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How hope you're fine.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Just a little bit shook up for work, but we're all good. We're all good. So, yeah. So I'll just give you the space. I'm not sure I did justice to your introduction. So if you want to explain further, you can also explain so that more people will know about it, and then we can just begin.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Sorry, just give me. I'm trying to share the link to my community so they can also join as well.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
All right. So good evening, everyone. My name is Achusi Amara Jennifer, popularly known as Mara Blossom, as indicated on the flyer. I am known as the Web3 storyteller. I use storytelling to educate people about blockchain DeFi. And I'm also a community builder, a programs manager, and a DeFi trader. As time goes on, you get to know me. So I want to say thank you to Jamin for actually inviting me to share my knowledge with you guys. And I hope that by the end of this session, you'll be able to understand what DeFi fully is and how to get started. I'll just quickly share my screen. Can you see my screen? Jamin, please help me confirm. Jamin, can you see my screen?
Yeah, yeah, I can see your screen.
All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
So
it's
we'll
fine.
be talking about the popular DeFi and how to get started in it. And just a brief introduction, right? And why we have DeFi here currently. I'm sure most of us already have experiences, but we might not have really pegged it in name or know if we actually have a solution for the TradFi that we currently, or let's say we are currently coming out from. But we all know how traditional finance such as banks can be a pain in the ass. I have my own story, you too, you have your own story. We literally don't have full story over our funds. We face a lot of restrictions, and even our accounts get frozen if a huge amount of money drops. Don't worry. I know this is very relatable and everybody can give their own story. And I'll be sharing mine as well, which is the only way I believe that you'll be able to understand what DeFi means. So this simply means you do not have total control over your funds. Imagine having full control over your money without the risk of an institution freezing your account. I'll give you a brief story, right, about the traditional finance that every one of us know. And whatever institution I'll be mentioning right now, just know that I'm talking about the bank, right? I can remember when I actually got admission into the university. I was 16 at the time, and I just got admission into the university, and I wasn't staying in the same state where my parents stay. So obviously, I needed a bank account to receive money, as I'm no longer going to be living with my parents. But as time went on, we went to the bank because I was receiving money through my aunt, right? I was staying with my aunt at the time. My parents were like, "Oh, I'm too small to be living alone, that they're not going to get me an apartment." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So my aunt was giving me my 10K, 10,000 naira weekly allowance. So at a point, she started prognosing into my matter. She was always telling me, "You have money for this, bring your money, let's use it and do this in the house." Whereas the money my parents sent me uh, will obviously be for me to like handle school bills and all of that. So I reported to my mom, and she was like, "Oh, we should open an account for you." We went to the bank. They were like, "Oh, you're still 16 years old, and there's no way you can, I can own a bank account, an official bank account, being just 16 years old." So they agreed that they will use my name, but they'll use my mom's bank verification number and my mom's phone number. So they also use my phone number, but it was just a sub phone number. So whatever alerts or notifications are actually getting, my mom was also getting it at the time. So my parents, if my dad should send me money, my mom would receive the notification, and she would like tell me, "Oh, you received 10K from your dad." I'll be like, "Oh yes, mom, I actually received it. I saw the notification as well." Until one time, where a friend of mine in school, a guy actually wanted to send me money, and he sent me money like nothing attached. He just sent me money. And my mom called me, and she was like dragging with me. Who is this person? I can't even remember the name of the guy. I'm so sorry. Who's this person? Why did he send you money? He's not your father. This person is not related to us in any kind of way. So who is this person sending you money and stuff like that? Now I was still 16. My mom told me, "Oh, don't get close to men. I don't want to see associating with men and all of that." And that actually caused a big problem. But then I had to explain to her that there was nothing there. It's just 5,000 naira a friend sent to me, and she actually like let it pass. She didn't tell my dad about it, or else it would have been chaotic. But then again, you would realize something, that I actually had no control over my funds. And as much as it felt like, oh, the bank account was actually opened in my name, I was still being restricted. Now, I'll quickly take you back to what happened in 2020 when cryptocurrency started, when the president of Nigeria at that time, Muhammad Buhari, banned cryptocurrency and forex trading in Nigeria, and ordered that anybody carrying out transactions related to blockchain and related to cryptocurrencies and forex trading, his or her account should get banned. And I can remember a very, very popular trader at that time. His name was Aboki FX. He got his account. This is a very, very big millionaire. He got his account restricted because of that. So we might all think that, oh, because I have a bank account registered in my name, right? And because I have my money there, my money is actually safe. And nothing can actually come between me and my money. No, as much as we have the bank, allow me to actually tell you, or to let you know, that you're actually not safe. Like, the money you have in the bank is not yours. If the bank wakes up one day and decide that, oh, I feel like restricting this person's account, they'll do it, and you can't do anything about it. You will keep going to the bank, wasting your time for months. You'll not be able to do anything about it, because you obviously handed your money over to them. So it's more like, oh, you work and you give them your money. If they decide to take any action, you can't do anything about it. So, because in the Nigerian system, or in the current traditional finance that we are all used to, because I am 16 years old, or because I am 18 years old, I'm not allowed to be carrying out transactions worth more than 20 million naira. Obviously, they would tell me a fraudster, because where am I making the money from? How am I spending that amount of money? How am I carrying a transaction volume what's up to that amount. Have friends who have actually like complained about stuffs like this. But then that's the society we find ourselves in, right? Now, in DeFi, you are in charge of your money and finances, unlike banks. You are in charge of your money and your finances, unlike banks controlled by central authorities. DeFi works on decentralized blockchains using smart contracts. DeFi works on what? Decentralized blockchains using smart contracts. Take note of these two words: blockchain, decentralized blockchain, and smart contracts. Decentralized blockchain and smart contracts. Now, I want to explain blockchains because I know a lot of you would be asking questions like, if if there is no bank, or if there is no intermediary between you and I, maybe carrying out a transaction, like say I want to send $500 to Jamin, and there's no bank there. Obviously there's nobody to actually help facilitate the transaction and look through to see if it's actually like, if the transaction is actually approved or not. If there'll be no bank or there'll be no third party, how is this being enabled? Right now, just like I said earlier, DeFi works on decentralized blockchains. And to explain blockchain, I love to simply put it like this: blockchain is a decentralized distributed ledger used to do what? Used to record transactions. This is just a simple definition, a layman definition. I don't use complex words when teaching, so that if anybody calls you out tomorrow, you'll be able to explain what you understand by DeFi, by blockchain. So blockchain is a decentralized distributed ledger technology used to do what? Used to record transactions. Now, one is just like a ledger, or let's say a simple ledger. Let's say let me use this instance. I am a trader, not a crypto trader or a forex trader, like a trader in the market, right? I sell cosmetics, and for every for every transaction or for every sales I make in my shop, I have to document it, right? For every credit and debit I make in my shop, I have to put it down in my book. My father is actually a trader, and I have experience of like a sales girl where my father will go out and tell me, "Oh, Amara, just make sure you write down who buys and who takes goods on credit," and bring the book home to me. Like, he doesn't play with that his sales book. So it's just like a ledger where you record everything. But now think of it as a digital ledger. It's no longer physical, right? Think of it as a digital ledger, which is what? Decentralized. Decentralized meaning that no one has control over it. Now there are very key characteristics of blockchain that makes it very, very important, which is number one, just like explained earlier, decentralization. Number two, immutability. Immutability being that whatever information or whatever data that has been recorded on the blockchain cannot be altered. It cannot be what? It cannot be altered. It cannot be changed. Let me take you back during secondary school days, where we actually have this, we use correction pen. As a smart student going to school, you already ironed your school outfit. You have your pockets here where sorry, you have your pockets here where you put your red pen, you put your blue pen, and then you put your correction fluid. Then, like, we consider students who have correction fluid then as the big ones. People are able to buy correction fluid worth 200 naira, 300 naira. Then that was like, it's big money, right? But then during classes, or you're writing notes, you make a mistake. One thing, you not make a big fuss about it, because you obviously have your correction pen. You can just easily change it, right? It's easy for you to actually change. But then you can change it and make your correction, and your notes won't be scattered. People won't really notice much. But then on the blockchain, Whatever information that has actually been recorded and stored there cannot be altered. You cannot even say you want to correct anything. It cannot be changed. So if it is recorded on the blockchain that I sent Jamin $500 and maybe I want to increase it so that Jamin would have to send me back $100. Like I'll tell him, oh, I sent you $600 or check. Oh. And Jamin on his own is obviously saying that, oh, it's $500 that he received in his wallet, but I'm still saying that I sent him $600, right? All he just did is a transaction hash, which is actually recorded on the blockchain. Once he checks it, that $500 remains $500. It cannot be edited. I can't even edit it and say, oh, it's $600. So that's the security and transparency that blockchain brings. And then the third one, yeah, which I just mentioned right now, transparency. Everything on the blockchain is transparent. This is not like the bank where, let's say, the bank records are actually being hidden from the public, right? Everything on the blockchain is visible for everybody to see. That's open source, making it open source. Then I also said DeFi works on decentralized blockchains using smart contracts. Now, what are smart contracts? Smart contracts are self-executing contracts with the terms of agreement written directly into lines of code. They are self-executing contracts with the terms of agreement written directly into lines of code. I'll take it again. They are self-executing contracts with the terms of agreement written directly into lines of codes. Right? For instance, or before we actually continue, smart contracts are stored and replicated words on a blockchain. For instance, sorry, just like I gave an example, let me use real estate right now as an example, right? I feel like this is one everybody can actually relate to it, right? There are so many scams in the real estate field or in the real estate sector where I can buy a land from, let's say I'm buying a land from somebody called Mr. Paul, and Mr. Paul is a real estate agent. He sells properties. And according to reviews and recommendations I got from people, they said he's trusted. And Mr. Paul sells the land to me. Obviously, he will give me a document to sign that, oh, it's my own, a document that signifies that I'm actually the owner of the land, right? Now, you know that that is actually just a paper. And there is a possibility, or if Mr. Paul wishes, he can decide to sell the same land to two different people. And in future, you will see me and somebody else doing what? Fighting over the same land that three of us might have possibly paid for. Now, we all signed the same document, right? It's just paper. Anything can happen to a paper, right? Anything can happen to a paper. But then imagine if this transaction or the transaction that happened between me and Paul was actually sealed, where this agreement that happened between me and Mr. Paul was actually sealed, right, on the blockchain using what? Smart contract. So they are self-executing contracts with the terms of agreement written directly were into lines of codes. Now, what is DeFi? DeFi stands for decentralized finance, right? It stands for decentralized finance. It's a new way of enabling financial services without traditional banks or middlemen. It completely eliminates the presence of intermediaries, the presence of third parties, the presence of middlemen, right? So financial services are built on blockchain technology instead. And DeFi aims for transparency, accessibility, and efficiency than the old finance systems that you are probably used to, right? And just like I mentioned before when I talked about transparency, financial services are open to anyone, anywhere, without unfair barriers, right? In DeFi, no one cares about if you are 12 years old running a transaction. Nobody cares if you are just 10 years old running a transaction. I mean, we have so many founders in this DeFi space that up to that are just 16, 17. But then you will see people who are even up to 35 years working for them. And like, and I think another characteristics about like the blockchain that I actually love the most is what anonymity. You can actually do engage in activities in the DeFi space, being anonymous, and still what's building trust. And that's why you see people who are actually 35 years working for people who are, let's say, 16, 17. They won't even know until maybe they decide to review themselves, right? Or I do a work for someone and the person decides to send me money, and then the person is telling me, oh, I'm actually 16, I can't send you this amount of money. Like, nobody cares about whether you are old or whether you are young. DeFi is basically what? For everybody. So enough of what the traditional banking system has made us understand. I just wanted to understand, know something. Even if you are 99 years old, DeFi is for you, right? It's open to anyone, anywhere, without wealth, without unfair barriers. It doesn't just favor just the ladies. It doesn't favor the ladies over the men. It doesn't favor the men over the ladies. It's basically transparent and open for everybody. Now we have the history of DeFi. Oh my god, our slide is actually long. I pray that we'll be able to finish this before 8 p.m. So history of DeFi, we have a brief history of DeFi. In 2013, in 2013 to 2017, we have the launch of Bitcoin, right? In 2008, where we have the launch of Bitcoin white paper before the launch of Bitcoin token in 2009, which declared the concept of decentralized cryptocurrencies. And then that came about. Ethereum emerged, laying what the groundwork for decentralized currencies and smart contracts. Also, at the time, that was when the ERC20 standard came on board, and we started seeing the creation of so many tokens. Now, in 2017 to 2018, that was when ICOs then became more popular. We call ICOs are actually called initial coin offerings, allowing projects to raise funds by issuing tokens. But at the time, people were really being skeptical about it because they didn't know how secure it was. Right? I think when I came into the space in 2020, around 2021, I still engaged in ICOs and IDOs as of then. Now, in 2018 to 2019, that was when the DeFi movement began. We had projects like MakerDAO, which is actually a lending protocol. They launched the first decentralized stablecoin called DAI. And we also had the rise of Uniswap, which is a decentralized exchange. And in 2020, we had Uniswap gave the very first airdrop to um people, which was worth around $1,200 as of then. That's around 600,000 naira. Right now in 2020, DeFi gains traction with the rise of lending platforms like Compound, Aave, and yield farming. With the rise of lending platforms like Compound, Aave, and yield farming becomes popular. Now, 2020 2021, DeFi popularity did what? Surges, with the total value locked in DeFi protocols growing from 1 billion to over $200 billion. And currently, DeFi continues to evolve, and with advancements in scalability, security, and user experiences. At least currently, we have several DeFi protocols. We have several DeFi protocols all emerging with different utilities, solving one problem or the other in the DeFi space. Right now, the DeFi, I'm just going to rush through this so that we can actually move into the main talk of the day. I'm just giving you an intro or breakdown so that you can understand when we get into the main talk of the day. So the DeFi advantage. Number one, user control. I already explained this when I was talking about freedom in DeFi during our first slide. User control. Sorry. User control. Now you are the true master of your financial destiny with complete control over your funds and transactions, right? Nobody is going to restrict you from performing a transaction worth $200 million. I'm saying this big money, but then nobody cares if you're nobody cares. Nobody is going to restrict you because you are 20 years old running a transaction worth 10 million naira, or you're 16 years old running a transaction worth um 20 million naira and the rest. So in DeFi, the DeFi advantage we have is that what you are the true master of your financial destiny with what? With complete control over your funds and transactions. And the best thing about it, nobody's actually prognosing into your matter. Now, the second one, accessibility. Accessibility. DeFi services are open to anyone with an internet connection. With an internet connection, breaking down barriers and promoting financial inclusion on a global stage. All you need is just what? An internet connection. You have your gadgets. At least when I started DeFi, I only used my phone, right? It was just me and my phone. Before I started raising funds, I got my laptop, I got my other devices and all of that. So all you need is what? Internet connection and a good device to do what? Access the internet. And you're good, right? Now, the third one is transparency. Like I said before, every transaction is recorded on public blockchains, ensuring what? Transparency and accountability like never before. Everything recorded on the blockchain is what? Is transparent. And it's what? The blockchain is what? Open source for everybody to see. Now, we have censorship resistance. No single entity can censor or restrict your access to what? Financial services, which is what we've been talking about since this session started, right? And programmable money. Smart contracts what allows for the creation of complex financial instruments and automated processes, unleashing a world of what? Possibilities. Now, moving to the next one, the advantages of DeFi, how it what reshapes the society, how it does what reshapes the society. And the first one we're going to be talking about is financial inclusion. By removing barriers to entry, DeFi can provide access to financial services for underserved communities across the globe. For underserved communities across the globe. I can remember during the Ukraine and Russia war. I think that was it early this year or last year. Can't really remember. I think that was early this year or last year. Yeah, right. Where banks were no longer functioning, and people in Ukraine were making, I think they were creating an awareness for people to make donations for them. And we saw people like top big people in the space and brands sending money to people in Ukraine using what? Using cryptocurrencies, right? Using cryptocurrencies, they were sending money to them. They didn't need a bank. We actually didn't need a bank, but it's not like we are completely eliminating the bank out of this, because at least for us to convert these cryptocurrencies or the finance part of DeFi, we actually need for us to convert it to fiat, we actually need the bank. But then again, it's it's a way to actually tell us that is a way to actually tell us that DeFi removes gives everyone access to what? Financial services for what? Underserved communities across the globe. You can obviously send cryptocurrencies. Now imagine if everybody in the world accepts cryptocurrencies. At least I have a friend of mine who actually bought a car. He bought a car abroad, and he didn't pay using naira because obviously by the time he will finish sending the money in bits, like he would have like had several headaches doing that, right? By the time he will finish swapping the money to the currency the country actually accepts, he would have to go through so many stress and all of that. So he just did what all he did was sending the car brand. I think that was a Benz that he bought. He sent them Bitcoin. They accepted Bitcoin and they didn't make a big fuss about it, making it very easy to run transactions, right? So another one, we have open innovation. Decentralized applications and protocols enable open collaboration and innovation, fostering the development of groundbreaking solutions to global changes. We'll talk about this more when we get to careers in DeFi, right? You understand this more. Now, um new economic opportunities, right? DeFi provides new economic opportunities to the world, right? Apart from just cryptocurrencies and NFTs, we have career wise cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and other digital assets create new avenues to generate value and income, fostering what economic empowerment. Now, think take for instance, currently currently right now we have a lot of people who have actually who are actually done with school and who do not even know their way around because obviously we don't have a job. Yeah, sorry, they do not have a job, and obviously jobs are actually scarce, like scarce in the country, right? But then DeFi provides several opportunities career-wise through finance itself, cryptocurrency traders and all of that, fostering what economic empowerment and providing what more jobs for people, more jobs for what for the masses. And then the next one, transparency and trust. I already talked about that a lot. I already talked about that a lot. The transparent nature of blockchain technology can reduce corruption and increase trust across industries, promoting accountability and ethical practices. Now, let me use the election that was last year, right? The Nigerian election that happened last year. Now, imagine if the citizens of Nigeria were actually complaining about, oh, the election was rigged and all of that, right? Now, imagine if this election was actually conducted on the blockchain, right? And the results of the blockchain were actually like being published or recorded on the results of the election was being recorded on the blockchain. Now, this would do what? This would actually reduce corruption because remember one characteristics I mentioned about the blockchain. It cannot be what? It cannot be altered. Tinubu or Mr. Peter Obi cannot come out and say, "Oh, I feel like actually altering this result. I'm not okay with this result." They can't do that. As you are voting, the result is coming out plain, and the main and the authentic data would actually be coming out. So you can see what DeFi actually does and see what the blockchain actually does. Now, global workforce. I think this is thing I love about one thing I love about DeFi on its own, right? Web3 and DeFi enables remote work opportunities and the ability to do what? Earn income from anywhere in the world, transcending what? Geographical boundaries. I work with people that are not in Nigeria, right? I work with people that are not in my country, people that are not in my state. I work from home, right? I work with people abroad. You can be in Nigeria and be working with someone a brand that is based in Canada, based in UK and all of that. So I love this part of DeFi, or I love this part of Web3 because it gives you the freedom and gives you the accessibility you want. So provides work opportunities for both you and I, right? I've worked with African brands, I've worked with brands that are not based in Nigeria and all of that. And one thing I really love, one very, very important thing I really love about it is the fact that I get to wake up. I wake up, I just brush my teeth, say my prayers, and I jump on my laptop without having to run through taking the next bus, going to the location where my office is based and all of that. So if you're like me that loves working remotely, I think you would love it here, right? So getting started in DeFi, this parts of it is this is actually for traders. So I'm actually going to skip this. We are going to come back to it, right? So career opportunities in DeFi, right? As much as we'll be talking about DeFi and how we're solving a problem in the system, right? We also have several career opportunities in DeFi. right? DeFi is an emerging industry with rules such as blockchain developers, right? Blockchain developers. We also have smart contract auditors. Remember, I explained what smart contract is at the beginning of the class. Sorry, at the beginning of the session. We also have people who audit these smart contracts to make sure that what it is safe for use by the what by the masses, right? Now we also have what a product manager. You can be a product manager in DeFi, managing the development and deployment of products for DeFi what protocols. Now we have operations specialists. We also have UI UX designer. We have this, which is obviously very common, community managers. We also have community moderators as well, community managers slash community moderators. Community managers can be a community moderator, but community moderators are not community managers. So the next one we have is what? Project managers. Of course, we have content writers and marketers, traders and investors. I know a lot of you be wondering why I have traders and investors here, but yes, it's actually a career and we'll get to understand why. The next one is graphics designers, DeFi analysts or DeFi research analysts who help to run research on DeFi protocols and present it to investors who would actually make their financial decisions from there. Now, how to get started and learn. All right, how to get started and learn. Number one, number one, you do what? You have to take courses to learn blockchain technology and DeFi basics. I know a lot of us might, or a couple of us might actually have a problem with this part of it, because I've seen some Web2 folks who are actually like, let's say, a good project manager in the Web2 space. But then the problem he or she is actually having and migrating to Web3 is the fact that he or she does not understand blockchain or does not understand how the DeFi ecosystem works, right? So the best thing he or she can do, who is actually moving from Web2 to Web3, is to do what? Is to do what? Learn. You do what? Learn DeFi basics. Learn how the blockchain technology works. You learn the DeFi basics so that you'll be able to what? You'll be able to converse with people in the space, right? Now the second one is what? The second one is what? I think I actually mixed this up. Now the second one is what? Try out some popular DeFi apps and protocols. As much as you have, let's say, signed up to an academy to learn about DeFi, right? You won't be able to learn about DeFi 100% if you do not interact with DeFi itself, right? It's in interaction that you learn. Is in interaction that it becomes a part of you, not by reading books. It's not by reading complex theories. It's not by reading theories. It's in what? Interacting and trying out what? DeFi apps and protocols. So that when you come out and say, oh, I actually tried using Uniswap to buy into this project, or to swap my salary and to swap my salary, which was actually received on, let's say, Ethereum, and I want to swap it to it USDT. You can talk about exchanges or DeFi apps or protocols that you actually use, right? Now the next one is what? Join forums to do what? To connect with the DeFi community. Join online forums to connect with the DeFi community. There are several communities I know that we have in Nigeria, right? And um one thing about this space, right? As much as is a digital field, you have to understand that you need to belong to a community. The importance of joining a community or the importance of belonging to a community cannot be overemphasized. Like, you need people with like minds around you, people with the same driving force as you, people who would push you, or people to grow with you, or people to learn with you, right? Because this space is actually very, very vast, and it's very, very vast, right? So even if you don't have answer to this question, or you have no idea about this, there's always someone else who is there to support you, who is there to educate you. That person fills in where you're lacking, and you can also fill in where the person is lacking. So the importance of community, um uh, community is very, very important in DeFi. We have the likes of women in DeFi. It's basically for just women, right? I'm sure Polygon Guild Lagos also has a community. We have several other communities like Nirvana, Valhalla community, and the rest of them. So it's best for you to just what, pick out the community that you want to do what, learn and grow with. Then the next one is what, pick a skill and build on it. Now, as I've mentioned the different careers we have in DeFi, right? As I've mentioned the different careers we have in DeFi, you'd have to pick one. And the ones I actually listed are not the only ones that exist. Funny enough, there are so many of them. All you have to do is just sit down and research, right? I think I have a friend. I told that friend of mine, just go and research and tell me which one you feel resonates with you, or which one you feel you can actually do better in, and then get back to me and we'll see how to build on it. So research on the different career path we have in DeFi. Pick up one, pick up a skill, and do what? Build on it. You can't say you are a community manager without learning the roles, or without learning the roles of a community manager. Not just having knowledge of the roles, but being able to be a capable community manager. You can't say you are a graphic designer, but you can't even design a graphics, right? You can't say you are a community moderator, but you can't moderate a community. How will you be able to do it? That will be just you making noise without giving out results, right? So the next one, read educational resources and stay updated. As much as sorry, as much as you've taken an initial class, like I mentioned, the first step, as much as you've taken an initial class to understand blockchain and the DeFi, right? You need to understand that the DeFi space is constantly evolving. Like, staying away from the DeFi space for like 48 hours, or let me say 72 hours, you can actually stay outdated. You need to do what? Continuously read educational resources to do what? And news to do what? To stay updated. Otherwise, you become outdated on the space. For you to remain relevant, you have to do what? Keep yourself updated. Now, the next one is what? Build projects to gain experience. Build projects to gain experience. Now, I think I've come in contact with people that'll be like, oh, I finished learning about community management. I can manage a community right now. Um, I need to start applying for jobs so that I'll be able to start making money and start getting paid. But then it's not a bad thing. But when let's say you're running an interview, right? You have an interview with your potential employer. There's one question they will ask you, which is what? Share your experience with us, right? Share your experience with us. And then you would realize that you have no experience, you've not done anything. And people only buy into what they've seen that you've done. So you can't come out and say, oh, you've not actually practicalized what you've done, but you've learned how to do it, and you are sure in your mind that you can actually deliver. No, try to do what? Try to build projects to do what? Gain experience. Try to volunteer your skills to do what? You're not just doing it for free. You're not just doing it for free. At least at in your starting stage, try to volunteer to build up what? Experiences. And then as you're doing that, another thing I would like us to notice is this: building in public is very, very important. building in public is very important. In a digital space as this, right, where you don't have a physical shop for anybody to just walk in without knowing who you are or what you do, as far as like you are selling what they have, they just walk in and walk out. This is not a physical store, right? You have a digital, see yourself as a digital store, and you need to constantly keep putting yourself out there for people to know what you do, for people to know what you can do, for people to see projects you have contributed to, right? And when they see that, they don't need to do much, because as funny as it sounds, you have a lot of people who are just continuously observing you, observing your growth, observing what you do on the space, right? So if at a point someone feels like, okay, this person has actually gotten to the point where I want this person to get to, or somebody comes, or a potential employer comes to your page, such as LinkedIn, Twitter, and other social media applications, the person does not need to ask so many questions. Just by going through your LinkedIn page alone, for instance, the person can tell what you can do, what you have done, projects you've contributed to, and all of that. So building in public is very, very important. Don't say, oh, I'm shy, or oh, I don't like sharing my life to the world. Nobody's telling you to share your life to the world, but your skill, everything about your skill, everything about your growth in the space, you need to do what? Constantly keep doing what? Updating your online diary. Yes, I'm calling it an online diary, right? Because that's the proof of work that you don't know that people need to see, right? You just started learning a blockchain, you just started taking a course in DeFi. You put it out there, right? As you're learning, you share what you're learning to with your audience. It's your diary, right? Nobody is telling you to come and start telling people how you went to buy mango, or how you went to how you started doing other personal stuff, right? Because I understand that a lot of people might be too personal, but then again, you need to share things related to what your skills, what you can do as a person, to build a social proof and what online evidence for your obviously potential employers and people who would want to work with you, right? So don't say I'm too shy. No, don't be too shy. You have to remove it, because you don't have a physical store, and you need to be bold and courageous to do what? To thrive in a digital space as this. And again, join a community of like-minded individuals. Remember, I talked about joining a DeFi community in the first place, right? Now, you are a community manager. There's a community for all block community managers in Nigeria. I'm trying to remember the name, but yes, I think I attended CM Fest, Community Managers Festival, last year, and I got to meet lots of community managers. From there, I connected with a lot of them. So, depending on your skill, you need to like have group of friends or community of like-minded individuals, right? So now, free learning materials, right? You want to get started in DeFi, free learning materials. You can go to Alchemy University, just search them on Twitter and you'll find them. You can join their Discord and get access to so many free learning materials there. We have Binance Academy, where they put out daily materials and resources on how to get started in DeFi and all of that. Now we also have CoinDex. They do the same thing too. And then the next material is how to DeFi. I'm going to is a full PDF. Is a full PDF. I'm going to be sending that to Jamming later on to share it with you guys. I think that's like the full standard material that I said that I can share with you, for you to be able to do what? Understand DeFi and understand the intricacies of DeFi, right? And then we have Third Web YouTube channel. You can check that out on YouTube and learn Web3. Check this out on Twitter so that you'll be able to get access to their materials, right? Now, a few personal reflections of mine, right? At least when I started in this phase, I made a lot of mistakes, right? I made a lot of mistakes, and here we are, right? Now, if I were to start DeFi all over again, or if I were to start over all over again in DeFi, what am I going to do? First things first, I would not try to do it all on my own and do what? Try to join a community early to learn and find opportunities. Joining a community, sorry, I'll try to do what? Join a community early to do what? To learn and find opportunities. Like, having a community is very, very important in DeFi, right? Not only do you get to learn with each other, or do you get to grow with each other, you get to share opportunities with each other as well, right? At least the first job I got in the DeFi space as a community manager was obviously came through recommendation from a friend in the same community I was in at that time, right? And so many other job opportunities actually came from just me being in a community. And there's a difference. When I say being in a community, I don't mean you just being a member of the community. Like, I think people don't understand this. It is one thing to belong to a community. It is one thing to be in a community platform, and it is another thing for you to be an authentic member of that community. We have so many community platforms. We have, like, on Slack, um Telegram, WhatsApp, and Discord, and so many other platforms, right? Now, I can be in a community and not be seen. I can be in a community and not even say a word. Nobody would even know that I'm there. And another thing I need you to understand is this: it's not by joining 1 million communities. Oh, if I join this community, oh, this girl is always here. If I join this community, oh, this girl is always here. It's not by belonging in 1 million communities. It's about being in the community, contributing to the community, right? Being an active member of the community for you to actually see the benefits of belonging to communities. Because you can still be in the same group with Chike, and Chike is getting so many opportunities compared to you that's been there, that has not even said a word. So if you are that person that joins a community and you are non-existent, right? You're automatically a ghost in the community. You have to change that. That's bad. That's a bad character. It's a bad attitude, please, for your growth. Right? Now, another thing I would do, I'm also sharing this because I used to be someone who, I don't like talking. Like, I don't like associating with people. It became a problem because when I joined DeFi, like, I got so tired of people saying, "Oh, I would like to connect with you, save my contact, we get to do more together in future." I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I just joined a WhatsApp group, and then you're sending me a DM. You want to, like, how will I feel comfortable that somebody that I don't know is viewing my WhatsApp status? Like, I started thinking about so many things at that time. But as time went on, I got to realize that even in DeFi, you can work with somebody that you've not seen, right? You can work with somebody that I've worked with so many employers that I've not seen. I don't even know their faces. But all I know is that what I'm working for them and they're paying me for doing my job. So don't be skeptical. Do not be skeptical as I was back then. Learn to do what, have an open mind and connect with people, right? Join communities and be active in the community. Now, the second one, surround yourself with people having similar goals. There will be lots of distractions in this space, but once you surround yourself with people who have similar goals as you realize that even when you are falling, there's always somebody there wanting to back you up. There's always somebody there wanting to push you up. Because at the time when I started, so many times I lost interest, even especially the times where I lost money, I had to start all over again. It was a friend of mine who had similar goals like me, who came. I was like checking on, oh, Mara, this, Mara, you can't do this, Mara, you have to come back, Mara, a lot is happening, Mara, this, Mara, that, right? So you would need that. They say iron sharpeneth iron. You would need somebody like that in your journey Now, another one, consistently build, get feedback and what? Iterate. Consistently build, get feedback and what? Iterate. Now, some of you would work with people or work with your employers and you feel like, oh, as far as you're doing your job is all fine. But for your growth, it is important to also do what? Get feedbacks from them. It is important for you to do what? Get feedbacks from them, get reviews from them. Get reviews from them. It is very, very important. So that it's more like we are in a digital space and people works on, oh, I believe that this person, I believe in what this person said about this person. Word of mouth can really do a lot for you on this space, right? I think there was a job I got at the time in 2021. I didn't even go through a complex interview process. But because somebody just spoke in my favor, I was like, oh, I've actually won Mara. She managed the community of my previous project and she's okay. The person just employed me. Right? So get feedback so that you can be able to do what? Put it up, add it in your portfolio, right? Document your work to build a public portfolio. The next one, right? Still on what we are talking about, getting feedbacks and reviews. Document your work to do what? Build a public portfolio. Volunteer and do unpaid work to gain experience. More people don't like this one. They don't like getting doing work that they don't get paid. But then how do you build your experience if you don't volunteer to do at least unpaid work? You don't have to do it for long, right? Just to gain experience, and you can be able to show people that this is what you've done and how you did it, for them to believe that you actually can. And then the last one, stay determined and position yourself in the space. Like I said, there will be lots of distractions. There'll be times where you feel like you can't do it anymore. There'll be times where you feel like, oh, it's not favoring you. There'll be times where you feel like giving up. But then again, it's only a determined mind that can do what, that can make it. So stay determined, keep being consistent, and do what, position yourself well in this space. And that's the end of our session. You can connect with me on Twitter at Mara Blossom, on LinkedIn at Amara Achusi Jennifer. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mara, for that. That was amazing. And yeah, I think well, I'm not into the DFI space, but I think with the things you just said, I've been able to pick one or two from inside. And um, I hope others that were listening as well, they also grab something. Although I have just one question, our time is already fast spent, so I just have one more question to ask. So when you were talking about building projects, uh, building project in the DFI space, how can someone who wants to become a DFI trader or become a community manager build projects? Starting out like that, you don't really know what to do. How can someone can you just give us like an example of a very simple thing that somebody can categorize as a project that they can work on and add to their resume and portfolio?
Okay, I think we about that building projects, that would be for the developers. But someone who was like starting out as a community manager, I think one thing I really did as of then was to reach out to different DeFi projects, volunteering to manage their communities, right?
Mm.
So when I do that, I'm not doing that because I want them to pay me immediately. I'm doing that because I want to gain experience. And from gaining the experience, I'm also asking them for feedbacks, reviews, so that I can be able to share that with my next potential employer, right? Which will also help me to build my portfolio and all of that. So I think for the developers, they actually work together to contribute to projects, build products, which might not actually not be fully usable, but then it's a start for them as developers. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. So it means volunteering for projects and also learning from other upcoming projects is a very good way kind of like gather experience. So yeah, thank you. That was really well explained, and thank you for the presentation. If anyone has any question or anything else, we'll also share the presentation with the community as well for anyone who is interested. But thank you very much for spending your time with us this evening. And yeah, I hope you've all learned how to get started with DFI. Me, I'm coming back to this DFI space. I heard you people have money, so you know it's a very good thing, and everybody needs money. I need to pick my own too, the way people are picking. So that's very good. So thank you, Mara. Do have a nice evening, and thank you all for tuning in. We hope to see you guys next month again. So bye, Mara. Thank you very much.
Bye.